As we age, the choices we make at every meal take on newfound importance, especially when it comes to vegetables. Welcome to Ageless Vitality, where smarter senior nutrition meets real-world results. If you're over 60 or cooking for someone who is you, already know that food isn't just fuel anymore. It's medicine, mood lifter, and longevity booster all rolled into one. Yet in a sea of eat your greens advice, it's easy to assume that every vegetable is a safe bet. The truth may surprise you. Some veggies you thought were harmless can actually work against your goals, quietly driving inflammation, spiking blood sugar, or even interfering with critical medications. On the flip side, there are under-the-radar powerhouses veggies so packed with fiber, antioxidants, and targeted nutrients that they become your secret weapon for stable energy, a strong immune response, healthy joints, and even sharper thinking. At Ageless Vitality, we believe aging shouldn't mean sacrificing taste, convenience, or enjoyment. It means choosing better, not just more. In the video you're about to watch, we'll guide you through the 4 worst vegetables every senior should avoid, or at least handle with extreme caution. Think sugar-laden canned corn and raw greens that disrupt thyroid balance or anticoagulant therapies. Then we'll flip the script, revealing the 4 best vegetables that seniors must eat: regular beets, bok choy, green peas, and Swiss chard, each backed by science and real-life success stories. No gimmicks, no extreme diets, just actionable advice you can start using today. Whether you're managing diabetes, high blood pressure, joint pain, or simply want to reclaim your pep and independence, this guide is tailored for you. So settle in, subscribe to Ageless Vitality if you haven't already, and let's take the first step towards smarter senior eating, because when it comes to vegetables, it's not about eating more, it's about choosing better. The 4 worst vegetables for seniors. Worst vegetable number 1, canned corn. Canned corn might seem like a harmless pantry staple, especially when you're looking for convenient ways to add a vegetable to a meal. But for seniors, it can be a stealthy diet trap. The processed kernels found in those familiar cans carry a high glycemic index that causes blood sugar levels to surge almost immediately after eating. In younger bodies, a quick spike and fall might be uncomfortable, but in older adults, it can lead to stubborn weight gain around the midsection, drive low-grade inflammation throughout the body, and place extra strain on a heart already working harder to maintain healthy circulation. On top of the blood sugar roller coaster, the type of fiber in canned corn can be especially troublesome for aging digestive systems. Its insoluble fiber resists breakdown in the gut, where it ferments and produces gas, leading to bloating, cramps, and even constipation, common complaints for anyone over 60 whose gastrointestinal motility has slowed. That fermentation can also feed undesirable bacteria, upsetting the delicate balance of the microbiome that plays a crucial role in immunity and nutrient absorption. If the natural sugars in some canned varieties weren't enough to raise eyebrows, the added sodium almost certainly should be. A mere half cup of canned corn can contain around 300 milligrams of sodium, roughly a quarter of the recommended daily limit for a senior already managing blood pressure with medication. When you consider that many older adults are balancing multiple prescriptions to control hypertension or kidney function, even small doses of extra sodium can contribute to water retention, swollen ankles, and dangerous spikes in blood pressure. Beyond salt, preservatives in the lining of many can-softened BPA may subtly interfere with hormone balance and place further stress on kidneys that have already lost functional capacity over the years. Take the case of Harold Fletcher, a 74-year-old retired music teacher from Asheville, North Carolina. Harold prided himself on replacing fast food habits with healthier canned options, relying heavily on canned corn in soups, casseroles, and even tossed onto salads. Despite his best intentions, Harold found himself facing stubbornly high blood pressure readings, persistent swelling in his legs, and a crushing midday exhaustion that no nap could shake. During a consultation, his dietitian zeroed in on his canned corn habit. Once Harold committed to swapping canned corn for fresh steamed green beans and roasted carrots, the benefits were swift and measurable. His blood pressure readings edged downward into a healthier range, the bloating and swelling dissolved, and he even shed 3 pounds over the course of a month without any additional exercise or effort. More than that, he reported feeling sharper and more energetic, proof that even a simple switch to fresher, lower glycemic vegetables can make a profound difference. If you're over 60 and aiming to protect your heart, stabilize energy levels, and preserve your digestive comfort, it's time to think twice before opening that can of corn. Opt for lower glycemic, minimally processed vegetables whenever possible, and reserve canned veggies for emergencies, always rinsed and drained to remove as much sodium as you can. Your body will thank you with steadier blood sugar, reduced inflammation, and a lighter, more vibrant feeling after every meal. Worst vegetable 2. Raw cruciferous vegetables: broccoli, kale, cauliflower, Brussels sprouts. Many seniors embrace broccoli, kale, cauliflower, and Brussels sprouts as nutritional powerhouses, yet when consumed raw, these cruciferous vegetables can present unexpected challenges for an aging body. These vegetables contain natural compounds called goitrogens, which interfere with the thyroid gland's ability to absorb iodine. In younger, healthier individuals, the thyroid often compensates easily. But in many older adults, whose endocrine systems are already fragile, raw goitrogens can tip the balance toward hypothyroidism. Symptoms such as persistent fatigue, unexplained weight gain, and increased sensitivity to cold may begin to emerge, adding to the array of discomforts that seniors already face. Even relatively modest portions of raw cruciferous vegetables can suppress thyroid hormone production over time, prolonging feelings of sluggishness and leaving seniors reaching for energy-boosting snacks that further disturb their blood sugar. Beyond thyroid interference, raw cruciferous vegetables pose digestive hurdles that become more pronounced with age. The complex sugars, like raffinose, and the high levels of insoluble fiber in these vegetables resist breakdown in an older digestive tract, where enzyme production and gut motility have declined. As a result, fermentation of these sugars in the intestine can produce excessive gas, uncomfortable bloating, and a sense of fullness that can linger for hours after a meal. For seniors who already struggle with slower digestion or irritable bowel symptoms, this can mean trading one perceived health food for ongoing gastrointestinal distress. The discomfort may drive well-meaning older adults away from vegetables altogether, despite their many benefits, simply because the raw versions are too harsh on the stomach. Compounding these issues, raw cruciferous vegetables also interfere with the absorption of key minerals, such as calcium and iron. Oxalates and phytates in the cell walls bind to these minerals in the digestive tract, preventing them from entering the bloodstream. Seniors are already at increased risk for osteoporosis, making every bit of dietary calcium precious for bone strength. Likewise, iron absorption naturally diminishes with age, and iron deficiency anemia can exacerbate fatigue, dizziness, and cognitive fog. A diet relying heavily on raw crucifers can therefore unintentionally worsen bone density loss or leave an older person feeling lightheaded and weak. Consider the experience of Wallace Trentham, a 75-year-old retired jazz pianist living in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Wallace, ever the health enthusiast, began each morning with a green smoothie loaded with raw kale, broccoli, and cauliflower, convinced he was nourishing his brain and body. Instead, he found himself waking up exhausted, his hands and feet perpetually cold, and his concentration slipping during rehearsals for his weekly quartet. A series of blood tests revealed low thyroid hormone levels and the early stages of iron deficiency. His physician traced the problem back to his raw crucifer habit and advised him to switch to lightly steamed versions of these vegetables while incorporating iodine-rich foods such as seaweed snacks and small servings of eggs. Within weeks of adjusting his diet, steam-softened Brussels sprouts and broccoli became staples in his meals. The gentler preparation reduced the goitrogenic load and began to break down the stubborn fibers, easing his digestion. Adding seaweed flakes and iodized salt helped restore thyroid function, while boosting iron intake with lean meats and vitamin C-rich fruit improved his lab values. Wallace reported renewed energy, warmer extremities, and mental clarity returning to his performances. His physician's follow-up confirmed that both his thyroid hormones and iron levels had normalized. For seniors seeking to harness the benefits of cruciferous vegetables without the drawbacks, the key is gentle cooking. Steaming, sautéing, or lightly braising these vegetables reduces goitrogenic compounds, breaks down complex sugars, and softens fibers, making nutrients both more accessible and more tolerable. By balancing preparation methods and pairing these vegetables with iodine and iron-enhancing foods, older adults can enjoy the antioxidants and vitamins in crucifers while minimizing thyroid suppression, digestive discomfort, and mineral depletion. Worst vegetable 3. Eggplant, a nightshade. Eggplant often earns praise for its rich purple hue and versatility in dishes like ratatouille or parmesan, but for many older adults it can hide an inflammatory trap. As a member of the nightshade family, eggplant contains a natural compound called solanine, which in sensitive individuals can exacerbate joint pain and stiffness. Solanine's effect is subtle. It doesn't strike immediately like a food allergy, but instead quietly amplifies the body's inflammatory response. In seniors living with osteoarthritis or rheumatoid arthritis, where joints are already prone to swelling and discomfort, even moderate amounts of solanine can tip the balance toward painful flare-ups. What makes eggplant particularly risky is that most of its solanine concentration resides in the skin. While peeling can reduce some of the burden, many popular recipes call for grilling or roasting eggplant slices whole, leaving the skin intact. Seniors may enjoy a few bites here and there without noticing a problem, but over time those bites can accumulate, leading to mornings when fingers creak open jars and evenings when knees throb after dinner. Because inflammation often builds gradually, the connection between eggplant consumption and joint woes can be difficult to recognize without careful tracking. Consider the case of Eleanor Price, a 72-year-old retired librarian from Charleston, South Carolina. Eleanor prided herself on maintaining an active lifestyle, daily walks, light yoga, and a plant-forward diet featuring dishes like grilled eggplant sandwiches and baked vegetable lasagna. Yet she began to notice that her mornings started with stiff fingers and swollen wrists, and by evening her knees ached so badly she had trouble climbing stairs. Assuming this was simply part of aging, she soldiered on until a particularly painful night prompted her to keep a detailed food journal. The pattern was clear. Every time she ate eggplant, even just once or twice a week, her joint pain increased within 24 hours and lingered for 2 or 3 days afterward. Armed with this insight, Eleanor eliminated eggplant from her meals for 1 month. The results were striking. Her morning stiffness decreased, her mobility improved, and she slept more soundly without the constant ache that had plagued her evenings. A follow-up appointment with her rheumatologist confirmed that her markers of inflammation had dropped, and she experienced fewer arthritic flares overall. Eleanor still enjoys Mediterranean flavors through alternatives like grilled zucchini or roasted sweet potato, but she now treats eggplant as an occasional indulgence rather than a weekly staple. For seniors seeking to protect joint health, the lesson is clear. Eggplant may be flavorful, but its solanine content makes it one of the vegetables to approach with caution. When eggplant does appear on the menu, consider peeling and salting slices to draw out some of the solanine, or replace it with lower nightshade options that deliver similar texture without triggering inflammation. Small adjustments like these can keep arthritis symptoms at bay and help older adults maintain comfort and mobility, proof that sometimes the healthiest choice is knowing which vegetables to limit, not just which to embrace. Worst vegetable 4. Raw spinach. Raw spinach is often celebrated as a nutritional superstar, but for many seniors it can quietly work against bone health and medication safety. Spinach is notoriously high in oxalate's natural plant compounds that bind to minerals like calcium and iron during digestion, preventing them from entering the bloodstream. For older adults already at risk for osteoporosis, every milligram of dietary calcium counts, and oxalate-rich spinach can sabotage efforts to maintain bone density. Over time, this mineral blockade may contribute to brittle bones, fractures, and a gradual decline in mobility. Similarly, iron absorption suffers, compounding the risk of anemia in seniors whose bodies already struggle to maintain healthy red blood cell levels. The paradox of raw spinach is that while it looks green and vibrant on the plate, its abundance of oxalates can leave the body starved of the very nutrients it promises. Beyond mineral interference, raw spinach poses a critical hazard for seniors on blood-thinning medications such as warfarin. This leafy green contains exceptionally high levels of vitamin K1, a nutrient essential for blood clotting. In therapeutic contexts, where consistent anticoagulation is vital after a minor stroke, for instance, as seniors count on stable medication regimens to prevent dangerous clots or bleeding events. When someone suddenly adds large amounts of raw spinach to their diet, the influx of vitamin K1 can counteract the effects of their anticoagulant, leading to unpredictable INR, international normalized ratio, readings and jeopardizing cardiovascular safety. A stable INR is not a trivial matter. It's the difference between preventing a life-threatening clot and risking a hemorrhage. For older adults managing complex health conditions, raw spinach can turn a superfood into a recipe for medical uncertainty. Take the experience of George Nakamura, a 79-year-old retired aerospace engineer from Bakersfield, California. George had been recovering well from a transient ischemic attack 2 years earlier and was maintained on warfarin to keep his blood in the ideal therapeutic window. Keen on boosting his health, he joined a local smoothie club where raw spinach became the star ingredient in his morning blends. At first, George felt invigorated by the green elixirs, but within weeks his INR began to wobble, sending him back to the clinic for extra blood tests and dose adjustments. His physician warned him that the variable vitamin K intake was undermining months of carefully balanced anticoagulation. Once George switched to lightly sautéed spinacha preparation method that reduces both oxalate and vitamin K content, the INR values stabilized, and his doctor was able to restore his warfarin dose to its previous effective level. He also began to notice that his occasional fatigue and dizziness, symptoms he had attributed to age, improved with the modified approach. George still enjoys spinach for its taste and nutrients, but he now opts for cooking methods that make the vitamins more manageable and the minerals more accessible. For seniors wishing to benefit from spinach's wealth of iron, magnesium, and antioxidants without the drawbacks, cooking is the key. Light steaming, sautéing with a drizzle of olive oil, or blanching and immediately shocking the leaves in cold water can break down oxalates, lower vitamin K concentration, and soften the cell walls, rendering nutrients more bioavailable and less likely to interfere with medications. By paying attention to preparation methods and portion sizes, more than 1 cup of raw spinach at a time, older adults can continue to enjoy its dark green goodness while safeguarding their bones and their blood. Tailoring spinach consumption in this way transforms a potential dietary hazard into a reliable ally for healthy aging. Having explored the vegetables that can quietly undermine heart health, digestion, joint comfort, and even thyroid and medication management in seniors, it's clear that not all greens are created equal. Yet the story doesn't end with cautionary tales. There are equally powerful plant allies waiting to be welcomed onto your plate. By turning away from the hidden pitfalls of canned corn, raw crucifers, eggplant, and raw spinach, you open space for a new quartet of vegetables that deliver targeted support for circulation, bone density, blood sugar balance, muscle strength, immune resilience, and vision. In the next section, we'll delve into these senior-friendly champions beets, bok choy, green peas, and Swiss chard, each backed by science and success stories to help you eat smarter and feel stronger every day. Best vegetable 1. Beets. Among the many vegetables that can light up a senior's plate with color, flavor, and essential nutrients, beets stand out as true champions for cardiovascular health and cognitive vitality. These humble roots, whether roasted to caramelized perfection or blended into a refreshing morning smoothie, deliver a generous dose of dietary nitrates. Inside the body, these nitrates convert into nitric oxide, a gas molecule that relaxes and widens blood vessels. For older adults whose arteries have gradually stiffened over the decades, this improved vasodilation translates directly into lower blood pressure readings and more efficient circulation. Enhanced blood flow doesn't only ease the workload on the heart, it also ensures that oxygen and nutrients reach hard-working muscles and vital organs with less resistance, helping seniors maintain energy and stamina throughout the day. But the benefits of beets extend far beyond their nitrate content. Their rich palette of betalains and beta-natural pigments responsible for the deep magenta hue offers potent anti-inflammatory and antioxidant protection. Chronic, low-grade inflammation is one of the silent drivers behind conditions such as arthritis, diabetes, and even cognitive decline. By neutralizing oxidative free radicals and modulating the body's inflammatory response, betalains help preserve cellular health and protect fragile tissues from gradual wear and tear. This makes beets an ideal addition to any senior's weekly menu, acting as both shield and healer in one vibrant package. Evidence for beets' brain-boosting properties has emerged from research demonstrating improved frontal lobe blood flow in older adults who incorporate beet juice into their routines. Since the frontal cortex oversees critical functions such as decision-making, memory, and focus, better perfusion in this region can translate into sharper mental clarity and a reduced risk of age-related cognitive decline. To see how these benefits play out in real life, consider the experience of Everett Bix Callahan, an 82-year-old retired record producer in Baton Rouge. Bix had recently received a diagnosis of stage 1 hypertension and noticed subtle lapses in his recall when cataloging classic jazz recordings. Determined to reclaim both his cardiovascular health and mental acuity, he began blending a daily beet smoothie, adding a squeeze of lemon and a touch of fresh ginger to temper the sweetness. Within a month, his systolic blood pressure dropped by 12 points, and his neurologist's follow-up tests showed stabilization in his cognitive assessments. Bix now jokes that his beet concerto each morning is just as essential as his daily piano practice. Best vegetable number 2, bok choy. If beets play the role of cardiovascular conductor, bok choy serves as the unsung hero of bone health and immune resilience. This crisp, tender green, sometimes called Chinese cabbage, delivers highly bioavailable calcium without the mineral-binding oxalates that plague other leafy greens. For seniors facing the inevitable postmenopausal dip in bone density or the gradual decline in mineral absorption that accompanies aging, bok choy offers a reliable source of usable calcium to support skeletal strength. Equally important, it provides magnesium and potassium in the right proportions to ensure that calcium deposits where they belong in bone tissue rather than accumulating in stiffened arteries. Alongside its bone-preserving mineral mix, bok choy supplies a substantial dose of vitamin C, a nutrient critical for the production and function of white blood cells. As immune defenses naturally wane over time, seniors who incorporate bok choy into soups, stir-fries, or simple steamed side dishes fortify their ability to ward off seasonal colds and recover more rapidly when infections occur. Lenore Hightower, a 76-year-old former music teacher from Spokane, learned these benefits firsthand after a wrist fracture prompted her physician to warn about declining bone density. Unwilling to endure the digestive discomfort she associated with dairy or heavily fermented greens, Lenore turned to bok choy at her dietitian's suggestion. She added it to her morning miso soup, lightly sautéed it with garlic for lunches, and tossed it into a fish and vegetable medley at dinner. 6 months later, her follow-up DEXA scan revealed stable bone mass, and she sailed through flu season without a single sniffle. Lenore now credits bok choy for keeping both her bones and her immune system in harmonious balance. Best vegetable 3, green peas. For seniors managing blood sugar and digestive health, green peas offer an elegant solution in a petite package. One cooked cup delivers between 7 and 9 grams of fiber, a blend of soluble and insoluble types that work in tandem to moderate glucose absorption and promote regular bowel function. The soluble fiber forms a gentle gel in the gut, slowing carbohydrate breakdown and blunting post-meal blood sugar spikes, critical for older adults living with insulin resistance or type 2 diabetes. Simultaneously, the insoluble fiber adds bulk to stool, encouraging timely elimination and relieving chronic constipation, a common complaint for those with slower gastrointestinal motility. Remarkably, peas also boast nearly 8 grams of plant-based protein per cuban asset in the fight against sarcopenia, the age-related loss of muscle mass and strength. By integrating peas into omelets, soups, and side dishes 3 times a week, seniors gain not only fiber but also the amino acids needed to sustain muscle integrity, support balance, and reduce fall risk. Antioxidants such as flavonoids and micronutrients like folate and vitamin K further bolster cardiovascular and bone health, making peas a true triple threat. Helena, Montana native Fernald Fern Broderick, discovered this formula after receiving a prediabetes diagnosis and struggling with irregularity. Under the guidance of a local nutritionist, Fern swapped his mid-afternoon snack for a pea puree with a sprinkle of black pepper, added peas to his morning scrambles, and stirred them into his favorite pea and mint soup. Within weeks, his A1C levels edged downward, and he found relief from his lifelong battle with constipation. More over-the-counter laxatives required. Fern now refers to peas as his tiny green protectors, celebrating their subtle but transformative support. Best vegetable 4. Swiss chard. Finally, Swiss chard embodies the detoxifying, immune-enhancing, and vision-preserving qualities that seniors need most. Its strikingly colored stems hide a wealth of betalains, the same detoxifying compounds found in beets, which prime the liver to eliminate toxins more efficiently. A gentle diuretic effect helps manage fluid balance without overtaxing the kidneys, an important consideration for older adults aiming to keep blood pressure and swelling in check. Swiss chard also provides a robust supply of vitamins A and C, together with zinc, to fortify immune defenses and promote rapid recovery from infections. Perhaps most uniquely, Swiss chard boasts high levels of lutein and zeaxanthin, carotenoids that accumulate in the retina to filter harmful blue light and ward off oxidative stress. As age-related macular degeneration and cataracts become more prevalent, diets rich in these compounds can help sustain clearer, more resilient eyesight. Savannah, Georgia resident Loretta Mayfield, an 84-year-old retired postal worker, experienced diminishing vision coupled with sluggish digestion and frequent colds. After a wellness workshop introduced her to Swiss chard, she began incorporating it twice weekly, once lightly sautéed with garlic and once stewed into a hearty lentil soup. Within 2 months, she reported crisper vision while reading, more regular bowel movements, and a remarkable absence of the usual winter sniffles. Her ophthalmologist noted stable eye pressure, and her primary care physician celebrated the boost in her immune markers. Together, beets, bok choy, green peas, and Swiss chard form a quartet of nutritional powerhouses tailor-made for the aging body. By weaving these vegetables into breakfasts, lunches, and dinners through smoothies, stir-fries, soups, and simple side seniors can harness their unique abilities to improve circulation, fortify bones, balance blood sugar, support muscle mass, enhance immunity, and protect vision. The beauty of these vegetables lies not only in their individual benefits, but also in the ease with which they can be prepared and enjoyed, whether roasted, steamed, sautéed, or blended. For those seeking to age with strength, vitality, and clarity of mind, embracing these 4 vegetables is more than a dietary tweak, it's a strategic investment in long-term health and independence. As we wrap up this deep dive, remember that knowledge is only powerful when put into practice. On Ageless Vitality, we've uncovered 4 vegetables worth steering clear of: canned corn, raw crucifers, eggplant, and raw spinach, and 4 true nutritional allies you'll want to welcome into your weekly meals: beets, bok choy, green peas, and Swiss chard. The takeaway is simple. Vibrant aging isn't about piling your plate high with every green in sight. It's about choosing the right ones to support your heart, bones, digestion, joints, immunity, and even brain and eye health. Now it's your turn to take action. This week, pick one small swap, perhaps stirring green peas into your favorite corn casserole, or blending a handful of beet greens into your morning smoothie, and notice how your body responds. Pay attention to shifts in your energy levels, any changes in digestion, or the ease with which you move throughout the day. Those insights are your personal guideposts for smarter senior eating. We'd love to hear about your experience. Which swap felt easiest? Where did you notice a boost in vitality? Drop your wins and questions in the comments below. Together, the Ageless Vitality community will learn, grow, and thrive on delicious, intentional bite at a time.